Assassin's Creed Shadows is just around the corner, and everyone is talking about a new online harassment plan that has been created for the Assassin's Creed Shadows launch that has people concerned that they are going to be attacked for criticizing the game. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Ojiro. I've been a game developer for a bit over 15 years. I have worked at a number of studios, some with and without security, and I want to give my perspective on this article that's come out that is talking about this anti-online harassment plan. So from what they've talked about in the media so far, people are saying that they have a dedicated team on standby monitoring networks such as Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit, and ready to act quickly in case of a targeted attack, offering psychological and legal support to employees who may be targeted. Also it says that developers are advised not to post on social media that they work at Ubisoft. That is a huge yes. You should definitely not do that if you work at Ubisoft. I generally recommend that people do not post under their real names and put their company in the bio. It's not a good thing to do. So the community's come out and they've been like, oh, well, with this, does this also include criticism? Does this mean if someone says, I think that this particular thing sucks about the game, does that mean Ubisoft is going to maybe copyright strike their channel, or if they're going to potentially sue them? They're working right now with some Canadian agency, which I'm not too familiar with Canadian free speech laws, so I can't speak on that. However, I can talk about, let's talk about it from the developer's perspective, right? So to start out with, a lot of these people that work at Ubisoft, the absolute worst thing that can happen to them is that they get mentioned in a video somewhere and Asmongold reacts to it. It's the worst case scenario for them. They're not super concerned about if the game succeeds or fails. They're mostly concerned about, do the wrong people say the wrong things? In the case of working on a big game where you have a lot of eyes on it, you end up bringing more crazies out of the woodwork. And a lot of people have had a lot of criticism about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Super reasonable. I've had a lot of criticism. I will still have a lot of criticism. A lot of people have seen the game. A lot of people are upset about the game. And there are a lot of people that will probably harass various people that work at the company, like no matter what. It is just an unfortunate fact of working in the games industry where if you have more eyes on your product, the more crazies are going to be looking at the game. And there's a huge difference between somebody saying, wow, I think this game sucks, and someone looking at the credits and trying to find someone that they can send threats against their lives to people, because that happens. Like I've talked with people where they're like, yeah, we made a balance change in a game and suddenly we had a torrent of death threats. It's if you have your name out there, you need to have a bit of a thick skin for that kind of thing. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is not something where they're just looking out for the crazies. Maybe they are going to try and take an action where they start attacking developers, or not developers, critics of the game. I don't think so, even though Ubisoft's been speedrunning like 100% completion stupidity run with this particular title. And I wanted to share a couple of examples of places that I've worked at where we have had to have the company step up and actually provide things to protect the people that work there. The first example I've got is I went to work at a place once, and they had this armed guard at the front. There was only one entrance because we had to go up through an elevator. Everything was locked. It was just this small hallway, and at the end of the hallway, there was a desk with an armed guard. He would check, make sure that you were approved on the list to go in, or if you had your card, that was fine. For that particular company, they didn't have that guy always. What happened is there was some kind of change in the game that we were working on. Somebody got super upset about it, and they decided that it was going to be a bright idea to take a firearm into downtown San Francisco and go to that building and visit that game company. That freaked everyone out. And after that, they had an armed guard every day, someone to look over the building at night. It was top priority because they didn't want their employees freaked out because there's some crazy people out there. Another great example where I can think of is we had an employee at one of the companies I worked at who had a stalker. And, not her fault, just a weird person. The police were involved, they were aware with it. But in terms of crazy people, like they don't, being told by a judge, don't do this thing isn't going to stop you. And the stalker either made threats or he showed up to the office at one point. I forget which one it was. I wasn't involved in the story until much later. And the result was we took our security company that we worked with that would normally just be at the building at night. And we said, hey, we need someone around the clock here that can also walk people to their cars if people ask. So that was like pretty much immediately the first thing that happened was we had that person on staff that could provide some level of security, had security cameras, placed in certain parts of the building, because there's crazy people. Like there's legitimately crazy people that will come out of the woodwork sometimes. And when a lot of people's concerns are talking about, oh, well, are they going to silence critics on these things? Like there are some people where if you do not provide a barrier, they may harm somebody. So having extra layers to not only protect your employees, but also to have something where they feel safer is good. In general, I think for any tech company, you should have probably someone look over your buildings at night. I say that because we had one company where we had layoffs, and then almost immediately after, since we didn't have like a nighttime security staff, as somebody broke into the building and they stole a bunch of those super expensive Mac monitors. So like everyone came in on Monday that was still at the company and they were like, we're missing a lot of things. Yeah. But usually that's just a night thing. And hopefully you work at some place where you don't have to worry about having security during the day. But I think in this case, given the high profile of the game, that it is probably in the best interest to provide a sense of security for their employees to say, hey, we put together this plan to make you guys feel safer. Because I can imagine that there's probably going to be a couple of Ubisoft employees, because they've got like 20,000 people. They're going to go out online with their real names and they are going to say something really stupid online. And then people are going to respond. And 99% of the people responding are just going to say, hey, you're shit at your job. You fucked up. But that like 0.1% of people are going to be like, oh, I have got justification to start threatening this person. And they're going to be crazy about it. Because that's just what some people are like, unfortunately. We'll see if suddenly folks like Smash JT and Hypnotic and them start getting like takedown notices or something. I'll say that I was totally wrong, but I don't think so in this case. I think it's probably fine. But we're only a few days away from finding out as of this recording. So if I'm wrong, I'll make another video about it. But that's all for now. We'll talk a little bit more about Assassin's Creed Shadows and over the next couple of days as well. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for your time. And I hope you all are well. And farewell.